Hello and welcome to Across Africa, our weekly roundup from across the continent. Coming up, could it bring an end to the HIV epidemic? Scientists say they have high hopes for a new vaccine as it goes on trial in South Africa. France and Rwanda at loggerheads once more as Kigali launches a formal investigation into French officials suspected of involvement in genocide. And whisky in a sachet. We head to Cameroon, a nation facing a burgeoning drink problem. We start in South Africa, where scientists are hopeful a new HIV vaccine could prove the final nail in the coffin for the disease. The drug's to be tested in a trial which got underway this week. It's the most advanced of its kind in a country struggling with 1,000 new infections every day. This from our correspondents Caroline Dumais and Stefan Carstens.
Cameras were flashing today as the first volunteers received their first shots against AIDS. The trial started simultaneously in 3 major cities, Durban, Pretoria, and here in Cape Town, at the Desmond Tutu HIV Foundation. The fathers of the project gathered in person to add weight to the cause. The last trial took place in Thailand in 2009. 30% of the patients were successfully immunized. Scientists today are aiming at a better result. They have been working at it for more than 30 years.
Cole has been in this journey, and many of us have been in this journey together for a long time. And I'm sure you've heard, we'll have a vaccine. I think it has been an extraordinary coming together, a global enterprise, to put the best minds and the best science together. Very important, though, that 30% in Thailand was an enormous milestone. For the first time, the world got an inclination that a vaccine can protect against HIV.
5,400 volunteers aged 18 to 25 will follow the treatment for 3 years. One group will receive the vaccine, the other a placebo. This trial will cost almost €1 million. In a country where 7 million people are HIV positive, this spells hope. Volunteers are not difficult to convince.
No, I'm not scared because I know what I'm doing. I know what I am well informed of what's happening. So for me, everything is fine.
Yeah, I had a cousin who she is HIV and AIDS. And people were talking about her. And even when she comes from a clinic, people are gossiping. And I didn't like that. I had a pain inside. Why? So now that's why I'm here.
Awetu wants to fight the stigma and is proud to do this for his country, even if results are only expected in 2025.
To Rwanda next, where a formal investigation is to be opened into 20 French officials suspected of involvement in the 1994 genocide, set to once again strain relations between 2 countries at loggerheads over who was responsible for the slaughter of hundreds of thousands of ethnic Tutsis. The government in Kigali has long pointed the finger at France, with Paris insisting the international community should share the blame. France 24's Mariam Saab reports.
In 100 days in 1994, some 800,000 people were killed. Most of the dead were Tutsis, and the perpetrators, mostly Hutu extremists. The slaughter triggered a diplomatic firestorm, burning bridges between Paris and Kigali, leading to years of back-and-forth accusations. Rwanda has now opened a formal investigation into French officials it says were both accomplices and actors in the bloodbath.
The inquiry so far is focused on 20 individuals. Our office requires some explanations or clarifications from these individuals on the allegations against them for their role in the genocide.
A disgraceful lie. That's what French Defence Minister Jean-Yves Le Drian said at any suggestion the French army took part in the genocide. Rwanda has accused France of turning a blind eye and training the soldiers and militiamen who carried out the killings. France says its soldiers were only deployed after the damage had been done and that their presence helped save thousands of lives, adding that any guilt for failing to prevent the genocide should be shouldered by the entire international community. The slaughter was sparked by the death of Rwandan President Juvenal Habyarimana, a Hutu and French ally. His plane was shot down over the capital. In 2011, a French judge blamed current Rwandan President Paul Kagame, at the time the leader of a Tutsi rebel group, and some of his close associates for carrying out the rocket attack. Now the spotlight has shifted and it's France's turn to come under the glare of scrutiny over the worst genocide in the modern history of Africa.
Next to the West African nation of Benin, where tension on university campuses is high. This amid a crackdown on student associations after protests against tuition fees and changes to academic rules. Rights groups have accused the authorities of seeking to stifle dissent. This from my correspondents Emmanuel Soji and Emmanuel Londe.
It's in total discretion and at the back of the Benin Public University that two representatives of the student body are able to meet surreptitiously. As a precaution, the meeting place is never the same. Students at Abomey-Calavi University are under surveillance by undercover policemen.
What do you suggest? To put pressure on the authorities so the associations can get their freedom back?
Boris Ake was arrested and beaten on campus last August. His offence, leading the student body to boycott exams to protest the Faculty of Humanities' organisation of a single round of exams and no opportunity to resit.
There were around 20 police officers. They beat me with their belts, their batons, their boots, hit me in my eyes, my stomach. I was a punching bag for around 15 minutes.
The ban on activities led by student associations has been a major blow to campus life. Without their support, things are a lot slower.
Lessons began in October, but up until now, the students haven't had access to transport services or the campus restaurant. And the campus dorms haven't opened yet.
For all intents and purposes, the government would have preferred to speak with just one association. According to Amnesty International, this ban on activities shows an alarming trend to stifle any dispute.
En interdisant, c'est une violation de la Constitution, en se disant qu'ils vont sortir un décret pour pouvoir restreindre, pour pouvoir contrôler comment est-ce que ces activités vont se faire, c'est encore une deuxième violation de la Constitution.
21 students like Boris Ake aren't allowed to reapply to Abomey-Calavi University, the biggest in Benin, for 5 years. There aren't any unions anymore to negotiate their conditions of study, and at the Faculty of Humanities, the root of the protest, no fees have been paid for a year.
Now to Cameroon, where the death of 27 people who consumed homebrewed alcohol has thrown the spotlight onto the country's drink problem. Whisky, often sold in sachets, is hugely popular, especially among the poor. And a recent ban appears to be having little effect, as our correspondents Marcel Amoko, Sigoto Chaya and Emmanuel Londe find out.
These small sachets of 45% strong whisky go by the name of gladiators, fighters, King Arthur or even Lion d'Or. Whisky in the bag, nicknamed condom here in reference to its plastic packaging, is sold at just 100 CFA francs. A bargain for thousands of whisky lovers like Thierry and Moussa. The two friends' morning routine is whisky for breakfast.
When I wake up in the morning, everyone, even those who have to go to work, we meet here. Because before going to work, we need to have breakfast to wake up a bit.
Not far is Brigitte's shop. She's a wholesaler selling whisky in sachets. A fan of her own product, she's already inebriated at this early hour. She doesn't pass up any opportunity to promote the hard liquor and has even found it therapeutic virtues that she recommends to children for supposedly curing meningitis.
It's recommended to give this to children at least every evening or even just once a week. It's recommended for children.
The idea of treating children with whisky has researchers at this medical institute fuming. For Roger Baleba, packaged whisky is an over-the-counter poison, a toxic mixture of ethanol and dangerous plastics.
It's dangerous to keep whiskey in plastic bags because the chemicals in the plastic will transfer to the whiskey. Those who drink it are unaware of this, and the consequence is that after having some whiskey, they may go to sleep and never wake up.
Marketing and selling whisky in the bag has now been banned for 3 months. But the condom continues to cause a sensation.
Finally, a drink of another kind. It's known in West Africa as long life tea, a special brew that it's claimed has countless health benefits. Now, one entrepreneur in Togo is hoping to bring the herbal beverage to consumers around the world, as France 24's Laurent Berstecher reports.
The Kinkeliba plant, widely used in Togo for its medicinal and nutritional benefits, remains relatively unknown outside the West African region. But that's something Adamas Kudu hopes to change. The young Togolese entrepreneur started with a simple idea: grinding down Kinkebila leaves to turn them into tea.
We're slowly rediscovering parts of our heritage that we had lost and renewing with our cultural identity. And we've realized that by repackaging something traditional into something modern and original, it should still work.
From drying and grinding the grains to packaging, Adamas Kudu oversees the entire production process himself. His factory in Togo's capital, Lomé, employs 40 people and produces 200,000 boxes of tea each day. The product, which is sold in pharmacies throughout the country, is already a hit with consumers.
Those who know it can really feel the taste of Kinkeliba. I encourage my brothers and sisters to try this. It's really good.
Adamas Kudu now has his sights set even higher. He dreams of exporting his tea to other markets in Africa and Europe.
And that's it for this edition of Across Africa. Thanks for watching, and do stay with us here on France 24.